Aloha and welcome to this module called UI Design, The Basics. And we're doing web user interface design. So the basics, at least the way I'm defining it for this module, are simple ways to use HTML and CSS to format. And also we're using Google Web Fonts, so you can deal with fonts as well. A lot of other stuff about user interface design that we're not going to get into at this point. We'll get a little further into it with Twitter Bootstrap, but this is really just kind of an introduction, and it's essentially just so it's about mechanics, right? You gotta, before you can deal with really abstract ideas around where the user's attention and focus is and stuff, you got to learn how to actually just put pixels on the screen and the place that you want them, and how do you make a menu item that falls down and so forth. So anyway, that's what we're going to work on starting with this tutorial. And for some of you, this is going to be ridiculously simple and primitive, and that's okay. It'll get better next week. And this can serve as just a little review. For those of you who haven't seen this stuff before at all, and there may be a few of you in the class, then this is your chance to kind of catch up, and you may need to do a little bit more work. But I just wanted to allocate a week to make sure that we all at least have the basics of this stuff down. So the learning outcomes here is just using HTML, CSS, real simple ways. And using tools, particularly IntelliJ, Chrome developer tools, and Live Reload to do it efficiently. Okay, again, that's real important for this class, is that you are able to do things quickly, and you use tools to enhance your process. So we have a whole bunch of readings, some external tutorials on HTML5 and CSS. Talking about Google Web Fonts, which is the easiest way to change to download fonts and use different fonts in your user interfaces. And then, because there's 600 or so fonts in Google Web Fonts, we have some typographers who've chimed in on what combinations look good. So I gave you an article on which ones to use. Or what an opinion on good combinations. In this class, I'm not, we're not going to get too crazy about web font combinations, but I thought just for future reference, it's useful to know that there are places you can go out there to use it. Chrome developer tools, really important, so that you, when you're doing web development, you can easily see how your HTML and CSS are interacting, as well as JavaScript and the network and so forth. Here's an optional reading that goes into more detail on Chrome developer tools. I also really like Live Reload. I think it costs you maybe $10 or something to install it. Don't have to do it, but basically it can save time later on by helping you by having the browser simply refresh automatically. So something to think about. I use it. And then here's a couple screencasts. I put them earlier in the class in the configuration management module, even though I actually just wrote them this morning as part of the development of this module, to kind of clarify merging and branching, as well as the use of the gitignore file. This came up for me kind of in this module, so I think this is the point at which it's going to start to be problematic if you don't really understand merging and branching or gitignore, at least the way we do merging and branching in this module. So I'm putting these links here. You may have looked at them previously, but I'm putting them here again so that you can really focus on them. And we've got 3 practice WODs that all involve this development of this crazy browser history web page. You can read about them, and then a technical essay where you'll talk about your experiences learning about HTML and CSS, or reviewing it if you already know a lot about it, and what your experiences were doing these practice WODs, what you got out of them. And then we'll have an in-class assessment where I'll give you a little sample problem to develop using simple HTML and CSS. It will be somewhat similar to these practice WODs. And then, of course, we'll be evaluating the technical essay that you developed and to discuss this issue. So that's the user interface basics module. Again, I think it's really kind of like the assembly language of the web or something. It's real basic primitive stuff, but having a basic familiarity with it, I think will really help you as you get into the more advanced stuff.